Let's get to your Bengals. 1-3, 0-2 in the division. They have yet to score a first half touchdown. Through 4 games. Mm-hmm. Are you concerned? Is it time to panic yet?
I don't think it's time to panic yet. We are 1-3. It's a 17-game season. One thing my mama always told me, in anything in life, when it comes to wanting to have success on the back end, it ain't a sprint, baby. It's always a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's always a marathon. And the marathon goes in 3 phases. And right now we're in phase number 1, and it's not too late for us. What we do need to do is get back to the drawing board offensively and figure out how all these teams have seemed to have figured us out, to where the things that we've been extremely efficient on is not working as opposed to the way it worked the past 2 years.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know. I hadn't run a whole lot of marathons in my life. As a matter of fact, I've run any. But I can tell you this: you can run a marathon, but you let those Kenyans run 4.5 minute, 5 minute miles, and you run 12-minute miles, and you see if you catch them.
Listen, this is the thing about it. It's like running the 800 or the 1,500 meters. Sometimes you don't need to be at the front of the. Hey, listen. Sometimes you don't need to be at the front of the pack. You just need to be right there in the middle or right there on somebody's hip, because at the right time you got to know when to kick. That's all we're looking for. And right now, that's the position that we are in right now as a team.
Look at your offensive line and look at Joe Burrow, and you tell me, in all honesty, you feel comfortable with where you are right now.
Can I tell you something? We've been talking about and fussing about in general through the media, because I'm on the other side now. We've been talking about that offensive line the past 2 years. Do you know where we were last year? We were in the AFC Championship with that same offensive line. Let me finish now. The year before that, you know where we were at with that same offensive line we talk about? We were in the Super Bowl. That's where we were. Just FYI, I'm just letting you know that same offensive line. Offensive line is a problem for many of teams. So what do? What do? You find ways to those who might be the weak link on your offensive line. You find ways to manipulate and hide it. There are ways you can do it. Listen, I'm not an offensive line coach. I'm not an offensive coordinator, but I do know there are ways that you can hide the weaknesses on your line where you're struggling.
Ocho.
Yes, sir.
You and I have talked ad nauseum about how 1 year has no impact on the next. So you climb the mountain and you get to the Super Bowl. Just because you almost got to the top, that doesn't mean when you start at the bottom the next year, you get back to where you got to the previous year. So just because you guys started 0-2 and you ended up in the AFC Championship game and you ended up in the Super Bowl, what does that got to do? You look at the way your quarterback is playing. You look at your offense have yet to score a touchdown in the first half. Did they do that in the previous 2 years? Yes or no?
No. They was on fire. They were on fire offensively right out the motherfucking gate.
Orlando Brown was trending again. So tell me why an offensive line would be trending again for the second time in 4 weeks. Tell me why, Ocho.
Wait, he was trending? Because I don't know what happened. No, not this. Listen, all bullshit.
And Taylor Swift was not in Nashville.
I was in Tennessee. I was at the game.
Yes. So why was he trending if you was at the game? So you saw what a lot of people didn't see.
No, I missed it because I left in the third quarter. I had to get back home. So now you telling me something I didn't know.
Hey, let's see. Joe Burrow versus the Browns weeks 1. 2 sacks, 10 quarterback hits. Against the Ravens week 2, 1 sack, 5 quarterback hits. Against the Rams week 3, 2 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. Versus the Titans week 4, 3 sacks, 9 quarterback hits. So in other words, the man has been hit 30 times and he's been sacked 8 times. And you say, well, you know what? Hey, we've been here before.
We Tennessee Titans defense. Yeah. Where's their identity? Where's the strength of their defense? The what? That
you
front.
Keep telling. Hold on. That
front. We didn't just play no bunch of I don't want to be disrespectful. This is the NFL. Jeffrey Simmons and them young fellas.
Ocho.
Man, what? I'm just being honest.
That's your offense. You keep telling me what did they do? What did they do? What did your offense do? When are you going to tell me something that they do? I don't talk about Tennessee. We'll talk about Tennessee in a minute. We'll get to them and Derrick Henry bludgeoning them, running the football. Let's talk about your offense because you told me 2 years ago they were in the Super Bowl. Last year they went to the AFC Championship. And you told me just a minute ago that y'all started out on fire is that y'all had to get y'all feet wet on the defensive side. Now, again.
I think we've had the same offensive struggle. This is a tug and war. It's the same thing. It's a give and take. We've had the same conversation at the beginning of every season about the offensive line woes. We know there's really nothing I can say about the offensive line woes except that they got to get back to the drawing board and figure out a way to mask and hide those that might have a weakness offensively. There's nothing I can say. And I just said offensively, what we've always done is we've always risen to the top on the back end when it mattered most. The fact that we're in a hole right now, we're 1-3. Yes, we are 1-3. There's only one way to fix it. There's only one way to fix it.
But normally a defense and an offense can only hide one player.
Right.
As long as it's not your quarterback, we can hide a weak offensive lineman.
You can't hide your quarterback, especially not in this day and age. You can't.
You can't hide 5 offensive linemen either. But in the previous 2 years, let me ask you a question. In the previous 2 years, was Joe Burrow dealing with a calf injury? And seemingly, I saw him on the sideline doing something with his arm. So
his elbow got hit. The elbow got hit.
So he was dealing with that in the previous 2 seasons. The calf injury and the elbow. He was dealing with that. Yes or no?
No.
So you feel so this year?
I still feel good. Do you understand? Let me tell you something. Do you understand Joe Burrow is a pocket passing quarterback, right? That has the ability to run and escape as well.
Yeah. But right? when they went on that Super Bowl run, what was it that Joe Burrow did? Got key third downs with what, Ocho? His legs.
Yeah.
Now, he can no longer do that. He also can't get outside the pocket and find Jamar Chase. T. Higgins has fractured ribs. So now, again, do you still feel as comfortable talking about the Bengals moving forward because of what they did the previous 2 years, considering your quarterback has a calf, an elbow, T. Higgins has fractured ribs?
T will be fine. Fractured ribs you can play with. Man, T will put on the flap jacket. What you call it?
Flap jacket.
Yeah, he put on a flap jacket. He'll be fine. And I think, and Joe said it obviously in the interview on how losing T. Higgins has hurt them because it hurt them tremendously because of some of the things that they're able to do offensively when he's in the lineup. Even though they have some quality backups, it's still not the same with T not being in there. At 80% Joe Burrow, listen to me real quick. An 80% Joe Burrow that is hobbled but still has the arm in the mental capacity and IQ he has as a quarterback to get the job done is still better than other teams' quarterback at 100%.
If you don't mind me asking,
which is why I feel the way I do about the Bengals. Why I don't have to say, "Oh, we're 1-3. It's time to panic." That's why I feel that way.
How many in your career? How many receivers have you known wear flapjackets just because they wanted to?
Well,
why don't receivers wear flapjackets?
It's uncomfortable because you can't put your damn arms down for one.
Wow! So it's just gonna be that easy for T. Higgins to put one on and go play wide receiver, huh?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you're not gonna have a choice. You got to protect your ribs now. You got to protect your ribs, and obviously, listen. The flap jackets they have today, with the way all the high end technology stuff, it wouldn't be them big fat ones where your arms be sitting on your side like that. You know, they got some stuff you can wear that can feel comfortable.
Yeah, but you still got to catch the ball. The ball, you got to get used to that ball catching, careening off your body because it's not like you will catch every last ball in your hands.
T. Higgins catch with his hands. Don't do that.
No, ain't no receiver in the history of the game caught every ball with their hands. Stop.
I did. I never used my body.
Didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
I pulled some tape, but I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna let it slide. Okay. But hold on. Through 4 games this year, Joe Burrow has 2 touchdowns. Through 4 games last year, he had 8 touchdowns. In 2021, through 4 games, he had 9 touchdowns. So again, I'm gonna ask you again.
So hey, listen, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I just told you it's not how you start, right? I just gave you the analogy about the marathon and the sprint, right? It ain't how you start. Just because he had you're naming numbers from year to year. Didn't you say you got to cut that? But listen to me. Didn't you just tell me about climbing the mountain, and then when the next year comes, you got to start all the way back over?
Yes.
Well, just because it didn't start the way it did the previous 2 years doesn't mean we're not going to get where we want to get to.
But just what you said. You told me even though we're starting bad, look at how we started last year. Look at how we started the year before.
That's where the promise comes in at, where there's nothing to worry about because you know where it's going to get to. It just didn't start off the way it did the 2 previous years. We still got the same regime. We still got the same personnel. That's how you know it's going to be all right.
But your quarterback is not as healthy. Everything is predicated on him. Goodness.
Listen, you're not listening to me.
Does Joe Burrow look the same to you?
Joe Burrow at 100% is the second best quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Joe Burrow at 80% is the third best quarterback in the league.
No, not even close. Not even close to being at 80%.
Stop playing with Joe Shiesty, man.
But here's the thing, Ocho, what you're failing to mention is that Joe Burrow at 100% can ride that sinking ship, which is your poor offensive line. Mm-hmm. But see, now Joe Burrow at 80%, they bring him down. They drown him. They drown the rest of this team. It's not like you have the 2000 Ravens defense. Ooh. That's not what you have. So now you need Joe to be almost 100% because of the inequities that you have at the glaring what you have at the offensive line.
Right.
Your secondary, you can't keep losing the Devon Bells and the guys that they lost. Mm-hmm. Those were big subtractions that you got, Ocho.
Listen. We gonna be all right again.
Okay, I'm gonna check back.
We gonna be all right. It's early. Matter of fact, check back in with me when we get about week 6 or 7, and then when I'm able to hit you with that what I told you, what I told you about that marathon, what I told you about when you run that 1500. You don't need to lead the lap, the first 3-4 laps.
Well, I hope you
need to do is stay right in somebody's hip pocket, until it's time to kick. And when you kick, you make sure you kick at the right time.
Ocho. Sometimes people just run a marathon just to say they ran one. I hope come week 8, y'all ain't just playing the remaining games just to say y'all finished the season, okay?
Nah.
Okay, I'm just saying.
We're not even built like that.
The Kenyans, they're running to win the race. Sue Ellen down the street, she's entered the marathon to say she ready to chuck it off her bucket list. Okay? I don't want the Bengals to check off the last 7-8 games off the bucket list because they just had to finish out the season.
You a non-believer. And one thing we love to do, we love to make believers out of non-believers. You keep that same energy, man. Come when it start getting cold.
All right.